Hello, Science Alliance. Hello, I am Lara. This is Theatre of Science. It's lesson 5 of Mycology, and we finally got to the bit where we start to think about how you identify mushrooms. Shall I put a little mushy here, pride of place? So I'm a total, complete, rank mushroom identifying amateur, but I'm going to talk you through what I've been learning about how you start doing it. And I think this is a good analogy. Think about this question for me. Maybe you have been already if you've been waiting for the lesson to start, if you're watching live. An alien arrives on Earth and wants to know how to tell the difference between cats and dogs. What would you say? It's actually, when you think about it, it's quite hard. What I started doing, which is what you probably started doing, was thinking about the difference between what cats and dogs look like. And then if you started doing that, you probably realised quite quickly that they're both furry and they've got 4 legs. They even both got whiskers. It's actually really difficult to describe the physical differences between a cat and a dog. So you might have started having to think about other things. So very quickly, but we are going to do it. I'm going to make you do it. I drew a table. Think about, please, what could you tell this alien about how to tell the difference between a cat and a dog? What would you say? And you might come up with some differences to do with what they look like, but maybe you might also start thinking about where they're found or how they behave, or you might even have some different ones. I'm going to give you, we got to start the lesson on fungi, but this is a good starter, so I'm just going to give you like 20 seconds or something just to jot down what you can think of. Oh, the likes just keep coming in, folks. It's so exciting. Maybe I am a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. Likes are nice, though. So you might have said things like cats are small and dogs are big, but that's not going to guarantee, is it, that your alien friend is going to get it right every time? Go on, try and get one more. Does that say 22 likes? That's ridiculous. Wow. Oh my god, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm rich. Surely I'm rich now. Okay, let's go through it. So you might have, the first thing that I thought was, cats have got pointy ears, so that would be a good way for the alien to tell the difference. But actually, a lot of dogs have pointy ears, don't they? I mean, here is a picture of 2 fluffy things with pointy ears that both have like bits of pink and black and white on them, and they both got whiskers. How would you actually tell an alien the difference between that cat and that dog, really? You might have said cats are smaller, but obviously you get small dogs, don't you? You could easily have a situation where the alien finds something that is very small and thinks that it's a cat and it's a dog. Some cats are quite big. I put, like, if it's on a wall, it's very likely to be a cat. And if it's fetching a stick, it's very likely to be a dog. But you often get cats and dogs that are not doing those things. A lot of people saying on Facebook yesterday, like, cats go meow and dogs go woof. This is true, but what if the cat is asleep? Cats, yes, they have a superior air about them, and dogs are generally easy to please. But it's the point I'm trying to make, right? What I'm trying to say is, I think if you don't know anything about mushrooms, like me and probably a lot of you sort of think, oh, well, I'll learn what the mushroom looks like, and then I'll see it in the wild, and I'll know that that is that mushroom. Easy. But you can't do that because first of all, some of the differences in what they look like can be very subtle, and unless you've got them both next to each other, it's quite hard to tell. And also some of it is to do with, well, as we will see, I'm not even going to do any spoilers, but it's to do with where they are, it's to do with the general context, it's to do with things like smell and feel, and let's get on to what mushrooms look like, though. We will start with that. What do mushrooms look like? We have answered this question quite a bit in these past few lessons, so we'll do a quick recap first of all. You've got the mycelium, which is under the ground. This, as we've talked about, is the sort of main bit of the fungus, really. The fruiting body is the mushroom. That's like the apple on a tree holds the seeds so that the seeds can spread and a new apple tree can grow. It's just the same with the mushroom. Mushrooms are the fruiting body. They're the bit that allows the mycelium, really, the main bit of the fungus, to reproduce. But we're talking about mushrooms today. We probably won't talk about mycelium today. We learned about the universal veil. Do you remember this? So some mushrooms, not all of them, when they start growing, they're protected by this little white case made of tissue that kind of keeps them moist, and it's called the universal veil. And as the mushroom grows, different things happen to the universal veil. It can get stuck on the bottom of the mushroom in a sort of cup, and that ends up being called the vulva. You remember that? So that would be the vulva on the mushroom, the remains of the universal veil that protected the mushroom. There's another thing that could happen. You could get the universal veil. We did a brilliant activity. If you're new, you've got to watch the previous lessons. We saw how we used a balloon and tissue paper to see how the universal veil can end up getting stuck to the top of the mushroom. So as the mushroom grows, the universal veil breaks apart and you get these little warts. So here's Amanita pantherina demonstrating how that happens, and the fly agaric, which we sort of won't talk about today because it's too obvious really, but the little white spots on top of the fly agaric. Do you remember? Those are its warts from the universal veil. So we've got the warts, we've got the vulva, we talked about the bit of the mushroom that makes the spores, and we mainly talked about gills, but we will go into that in a bit more detail now, because there's a few different bits of a mushroom that can make spores. Well, like on different mushrooms, have different ways of making spores. And the bit where the spores grow is called the hymenium. So we've mainly talked about the gills making the spores, but you can get pores that make spores, and you also get teeth, which we haven't covered. Let's make little models of those to try and get those into our heads, and then I'll show you a spiky mushroom, which I only just learned about, and I've never seen one, and I'm very excited. So can you get some Play-Doh and just make 3 little Play-Doh balls? I was really struggling on Facebook yesterday to describe the size of this ball. Someone said it's a Play-Doh sized ball. Yeah, get a bit bigger than a coin, I guess. I think we should make 3 different. So the top of the mushroom is called the cap. And the cap is just there to protect the bits that make the spores. I'm going to write this on the board. Hymenium. It's a great word, which we haven't used yet. Proper biology. Hymenium. So the hymenium is the bit that makes the spores. And you can get 3 different ways that a mushroom makes spores. So let's make 3 little models to try and help us remember. So I've got my 3 little balls. Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't say to bring a knife. If you've got just a normal blunt little kitchen knife, that might be good. You could use your fingernail actually. Let's just make some gills on one of our mushroom caps. So I'm going to make it flat so that I can stick mine to my whiteboard. You might want to make little models, but I'm just going to, I guess I could, yeah, you can use your fingernail. I'm just going to use my fingernail to stab some little lines in to make the bottom of a cap that's got gills on it. So after this, we will, I was going to say we'll only be talking about gilled mushrooms. But no, we won't be. I've tried to put in a wide variety into this lesson. Okay, so that's my little gilled mushroom. I'll put that there. Yeah, now let's talk. So I've given you a bit of a clue actually, because I said it's a spiky mushroom. So you might be able to tell what this thing is called. Let's look at the mushroom that has teeth. Here we go. You done that? So that's my little gilled mushroom. That's the one that I've got so far. Here we are. It's a hedgehog mushroom. Look at that beast. The hedgehog mushroom is edible, but don't use anything I say in these lessons to help you pick and eat mushrooms. I'll explain why in a sec. Yeah, here it is. It's very pale, and it's the underside is covered in these beautiful teeth. Look at that. It's a wood lice, enjoying that one. Yeah, it's just a stunning thing. So let's get some teeth on the bottom of one of these mushroom caps. I'm just going to kind of pick at it, right? That'll do. That looks like teeth, doesn't it? So I was calling them spikes because it's a hedgehog mushroom, but they are properly called teeth. There we go. So there's not that many toothed mushrooms and I will show you some that look like the hedgehog mushroom now. There we go. Let's put that on there. And right teeth. So this is the hedgehog mushroom, the big beautiful beast. There's also a smaller hedgehog mushroom, which isn't too much of a problem when it comes to foragers identifying it, because the small hedgehog mushroom is also edible. The terracotta hedgehog is smaller and it's browner. It's so cute. But right, and then yeah, so the foraging websites that I looked at said, oh, so it's okay because you won't get those confused. But there is this mushroom, the green foot tooth, and yeah, it does look different. It's got warts on the top and it's dark brown. But this one is considered poisonous. Now, I can totally see how an expert would not get them confused, but I'm not completely trusting myself. Like, I can't really see the warts on there. So this is the underside of the greenfoot tooth mushroom, which is considered poisonous. If I put that next to obviously if they're right next to each other, maybe you could kind of tell, but I don't think that out in the wild I would trust myself to know the difference between the edible hedgehog mushroom and the poisonous greenfoot mushroom. But there you go. The point of the dogs and cats exercise was to sort of let you know that you are obviously a dog and cat expert, aren't you? You're not thinking, oh, has that one got pointy ears or is that one smaller? You've grown up in a world where you were surrounded by cat and dog experts who kept pointing out, oh, that's a cat, that's a dog, that's a cat, that's a dog. So you've just learned. So what we're going to try and do this lesson is learn lots of different little words and get lots of information in your brain, and then hopefully at some point you will meet a mushroom expert if you go on a foraging walk or something, and you can ask them lots of questions and it'll all make sense to you. But yeah, you really do need to be in the presence of an expert who is actually sharing your space, who can point at things. Don't be eating anything based on what I've said. Did I mention that? Okay, good. Right. We have talked about the mushrooms that have pores before, but we'll talk about them briefly again now. So for the pory one, it's just lots of little dents, isn't it, where the spores come out. I'm just going to sort of press my finger into mine like that. There we go. That'll do. Stick that on there. So do you remember the name? I'm sure you won't. From if it was me that taught you it last week, the bolete mushrooms are famously the mushrooms where nearly all of them have got pores where their spores come out of instead of gills. So if it has pores, it's probably fairly safe to say that it's a bolete. Here is my new favourite website. Oh my goodness, Wild Food UK. I've spent so much time on Wild Food UK over the last couple of weeks, telling us there are about 250 boletes worldwide. They don't all have pores, but most of them do. And there's about 80, if you're in the UK like me, that you can look out for. And a handful are toxic, but quite a few of them are edible. So again, don't trust me and leave it to the experts that you're actually with. But their general rule is, if you want to find an edible bolete, make sure you've got a bolete. So it has to be an upright mushroom with a stem and pores instead of gills, and growing in soil, not on wood. That's already a lot to remember. Not growing out of wood. I mean, got a stem, I guess that's sort of fairly typical, and it has pores. Okay, all right, I can remember that. Just not growing out of wood, only growing out of soil. If there's any red colouring on it, then ignore it, because that's a sign that it could be a toxic one. And if you slice the mushroom in half vertically, I mean, don't do that. Leave it for the wildlife. But if you did, and the flesh turns vivid blue quickly or immediately on cutting, then again, avoid it. Some of them do change colour, but change colour more slowly. And I think this is really good advice. They say, if you follow those rules, yes, you will miss out on some mushrooms that you can eat, but you will avoid the toxic ones. So yeah, so that's the boletes. Don't eat boletes because of what I said. So hopefully we've pieced together most of the bits that we're going to talk about today. We've got the warts, we've got the gills that make the spores on a lot of mushrooms, you've got the cap that protects the gills, you've got what's called the stipe. We've been calling it the stem, but more correctly you would call it the stipe, and you've got the annulus or the ring as well, which we briefly mentioned last week because that was covering the gills to protect them, and then when the mushroom grew it's often gets stuck around the stipe. Not always, not all mushrooms have one. It's a good way to identify mushrooms. Okay, let's get on to a more concrete example. Look at this little guy that I found in October 2021. So it's a small mushroom and it's purple. So this is a good start, right? I mean, how many mushrooms are there that are small and purple? So I looked on the internet and I found out, okay, I think my mushroom could be a lilac fibre cap, which looks like that, a small purple mushroom. Or it could be an amethyst deceiver, which looks like that, small purple mushroom. So which one have I got? Well, the way to tell the difference if you find a small purple mushroom in the UK is the amethyst deceiver has purple gills. Here's a photo of the lilac fibre cap, which you can see has got sort of quite grey, boring white gills. And the lilac fibre cap has these beautiful purple gills. Unfortunately, in October 2021, I didn't know enough to take a photo of the gills, so we may never know, but that's one of the ways you can identify mushrooms. I can be spotted quite recently with my camera phone upside down trying to take pictures from the underneath of mushrooms because I didn't want to damage them. But I suspect this one is an amethyst deceiver. Why do I suspect that? Well, if we have a look at these caps again, we're going to get, let's talk about cap shape now. You probably, well, you might have noticed if you're paying close attention that the amethyst deceiver had this little dent in its cap, and this lilac fibre cap had sort of the opposite of a dent, a little pointy bit. So let's look at some cap shapes now. If you've been to my website and you've got off the printout, I found this image, which is just free for anyone on the internet to use. Isn't that fabulous? We're not going to talk about gill attachment today because, to be honest, I don't want to encourage you to pick mushrooms and slice them through to find out how the gills are attached. But that is interesting, so I put that on the printout. But we will talk about the different caps. So here's a picture of the 9 different cap shapes that mushrooms can have. You've got your campanulate, which looks like a bell. Conical looks sort of like a cone. Convex looks like, I'm a physics teacher, all right? For me, that just looks like a mushroom shape. Depressed. Depression is not funny, obviously. But the thought of a mushroom being depressed has gently amused me this week. So if it's got a little dent in it, that's a depressed mushroom. If it's flat, it's flat. Infundibuliform is a deeply depressed mushroom. Looks like a fish's tail. Ovate sort of looks like someone's chopped the bottom off an egg and stuck it on a stipe. Umbilicate has a small but deep depression, kind of like a whale's tail, I'm going to say, instead of a mermaid's tail. And the umbonate is got a central knob on. So I thought, let's make an umbonate, because that's definitely the most fun word. Join me now, please. It's up to you again if you want to make a 3D model out of Play-Doh or if you want to make a flat model. I'm going to make a flat one so that I can stick it on my whiteboard. I just thought that doing something with our hands might help the information to stay in our heads a bit better. So yeah, this is the umbonate cap shape. The umbo is the little knob on the top, actually. So that purple mushroom that we looked at earlier, the lilac fibre cap, that had a little umbo, which is how I suspected that it wasn't my mushroom, because my mushroom didn't have an umbo. Okay, I've shaped myself a little. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna say perfect. I think that's perfect. Right. I'm going to stick that on my board. I mean, you don't have to do this because if you've been to my website, you've got that printout in front of you, but you might just want to keep them for fun. But let's write umbonate there because we'll be talking about that a fair bit. So this is caps now. There we go. So yeah, let me show you an umbonate mushroom that I found on my mushroom hunt a couple of days ago. Here we go, look at this little cutie, it's so cute. And this very clearly got an umbo on the top. I think this is the common bonnet mushroom. I'm not obviously 100%, and I welcome people to tell me otherwise, but I think it's what you call a common bonnet. So let's how would you describe this cap? Moving on from bonnets for a second. Here's a picture that I found of a Shaggy ink cap on Wikimedia Commons. Thank you, Shane Brooks. How would you describe that cap? I don't expect you to have instantly remembered them all. Which shape do you think that looks like the most? And you can start making it if you're very confident. I'm making it behind you out of Play-Doh. What do you reckon? What does it look like? It looks like a Magic Roundabout character. It looks like a mushroom that has got a really, really long fringe. Like its hair's all the same length and it's got a long fringe covering its eyes. Do you think, are you thinking ovate? Yeah? I reckon that's ovate, isn't it? So I've made a little ovate So ovum, if you've done my reproduction lesson, you know that ovum means egg. So that's presumably where that name comes from. There we go. I've made my little ovate. But mushrooms. This is why I thought the dog and the cat analogy was good at the start, because I saw this mushroom the other day. I tried to take photos so that you could experience the fun that I had spotting it and thinking, oh, that is a massive beast of a mushroom. I'll get closer. Wow, what an absolutely stunning thing. Cool, look at that, beautiful. What, this is a shaggy ink cap. But it looks nothing like that. So this is a young shaggy ink cap, which has the ovate cap. And this is the older shaggy ink cap, which has a bell shape. So they're not making it easy for us. Quite often, I suppose just like cats and dogs, the little ones look different to the big ones. By the way, where do you think the shagginess comes from? You see this kind of gorgeous white shagginess. This is my actual photo, guys. You've got to get outside and go for walks through woods soon and see if you can find any of these beautiful mushrooms. I've been really loving your photos. What do you think that is? What's that white stuff? I have mentioned it today. It's the universal veil. Isn't that lovely? That it doesn't always become warts. On the shaggy ink cap, the universal veil just becomes this like shaggy hair. Love it. Beautiful. Right, moving on. And obviously the other way you can tell a shaggy ink cap, because it's so black underneath, it just kind of gets blacker and blacker and disintegrates as it gets older. Okay, let's make ourselves a depressed mushroom, and we'll leave it there for the different caps. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to make a depressed mushroom, a small, deeply depressed mushroom, or a really deeply depressed mushroom. I think I'm just going to go slightly depressed for my cap here. And let's have a look at a depressed mushroom that I found in December 2021. You're hopefully you're with me on that. This is depressed, right? Is it depressed? Is it umbilicate depressed, or is it infundibuliform depressed? I will leave that up to you. Well, I won't actually. It's a funnel shape, this one. Deeply depressed. There we go. Right. I've made my little, that'll do. That's depressed, isn't it? So, can you join me, please? So I found this mushroom. It's hard to identify mushrooms, isn't it? Because there's a lot of them, and where do you go? So I looked up some pictures online, and I found two different mushrooms that I thought my mushroom could be. And I want you to look at these photos and tell me which one you think it is, and also what percentage certain are you. So if you're absolutely 100% sure that it's one of these mushrooms, you could say like Chanterelle 100%, or if you think it, if you're half and half, like you're not quite sure, say 50%, you know what I mean. Here we go. So that's my depressed cap. I'll show you a picture from the side as well. I was excited by this mushroom. I didn't recall ever seeing one of these before. There it is from the side. Isn't that lovely? So yeah, I found these pictures. Here's mine on the far right. This is a picture of the golden Chanterelle, and this is a picture of the false Chanterelle. So just have a little look at those and tell me which one do you think it is, and what percentage sure are you? You might not think that it's either of those. You might be 100% sure that it's not the golden Chanterelle or the false Chanterelle. You might be 100% sure that it's a false Chanterelle and it's not a golden Chanterelle. Just decide quickly what sort of percentage certainty you're going to put on either of those. So they've both got this sort of funnel shape, right? The false and the golden have both got gills. Well, yeah, they've both got reasonably straight stipes. I guess that in that picture, the false Chanterelle stipe is slightly straighter and the golden Chanterelle stipe gets a bit thicker at the top. Have you decided roughly how sure you are? Okay, let's have a little look at the difference between the golden Chanterelle and the false Chanterelle, because these are both found in the UK, where I am, and elsewhere. I mean, to my amateur eyes, they are the same photo. That is exactly the same mushroom, but it's not, of course, because you can't eat the false Chanterelle and you can eat the golden Chanterelle. So the false Chanterelle, if you hold them together like this, I guess you can see that the gills are thinner and closer together. Here's some more photos try and help. The false chanterelle, the cap is more velvety, so we're starting to get away from what they look like and starting to think about how they behave. If you stroke them, you can touch mushrooms without dying. That is possible. It's okay to give them a poke, wash your hands afterwards. Yeah, the cap on the false one is more velvety. The golden chanterelle apparently smells lovely. Apparently it smells like apricot, so smell is another important factor. If you're identifying mushrooms, don't forget to give it a smell. And then someone told me about a different mushroom called the trooping funnel. And here's a picture of the trooping funnel. It's much paler, right? And it's often found in fairy rings. And as it gets older, the margin, which we'll talk about in a sec, the edge of the mushroom, unrolls. So go on. Have you changed your percentage certainty, or are you sticking with the same percentage certainty? Here's a picture of mine. Here's a picture of a trooping funnel. Here's a picture of a golden chanterelle. And here's a picture of a false chanterelle. What do you reckon? So immediately I was like, oh, yeah, it's pale. It's got an unrolled margin. Are you noticing the margins? So suddenly I noticed that on the false chanterelle and the golden chanterelle, those margins are both rolled over. Someone pointed this out to me on Facebook the other day. But mine are straight. So it's definitely the trooping funnel. But it just goes to show that this is why it's risky to pick them, because unless you know of all the different mushrooms, you could find one that looks very similar and isn't. Right, okay, I've done loads of talking. Let's just give you a little activity to do. We will start talking about margins now. That means just like I just showed you, just if you imagine that these are 6 little diagrams of mushrooms looking from the top downwards at the mushroom. One of them is just a complete circle. One of them is sort of frilly, looks like a posh jam tart. One of them's a circle with lots of little lines coming in. One of them kind of looks like a sun. It's a circle, but it's got lots of bits hanging off it. One of them has got lots of jagged cuts into it, and one of them kind of looks like a fried egg but without the yolk. Can you match those up to the names of the different kinds of margins that you can get on mushrooms? So you've got entire and smooth, wavy/undulating, split cracked rimose, appendiculate, striate, and crenate/scalloped. So I don't think you'll get all of those, but can you maybe match up a couple of those before I give you any clues? So if you got the printout, you could be sketching it in the box, or, you could look at the screen, match it up, whatever you like, but just see how many of those can you guess which ones they are. And give it a guess. Like, sketch it and then cross it out and sketch it in another place. It's a very good brain exercise. You're not handing this in to anyone, are you? I'm not marking it. It doesn't matter if you've got loads of scribbling out on it. It's just all about you learning, really, and remembering it. So my little clues for you are that appendiculate has appendages. Do you know what appendages is? What is an appendage? If you've got an appendage, then it's like, I don't know, if you were like carrying a suitcase, would that be an appendage? It's sort of extra bits. And striate means having long, thin strips. Or lines, I guess, kind of. Having long, thin strips or lines. Have you had a go? I'll give you a couple more seconds. All right, let's have a look. I think I did them by which one I thought was the most obvious. So I think the most obvious one is the one that is entire or smooth. It's just whole, right? It's just a circle. There's nothing going on with that margin. It's all neat. The second most obvious one, I think it's the split or the cracked one, because it's got all these cracks in it and it's split up the sides a bit. Striate, I guess you could have thought that the one that looked like a sun was striate because it had lots of strips hanging off it, but no, the striate one is the one with all the little lines coming inwards. And the one that looks like a sun is the one that's got appendages. That again, that is actually that's the partial veil, the bits that were covering the tissue that was covering the gills or whatever to protect it, which is now hanging off. And the wavy undulating one is the one that looks like fried egg. And the crenate or scalloped one is the one that looks like a posh jam tart edge. There we go. So yeah, cap margins, very, very useful way of IDing mushrooms. So that one that I found, the trooping funnel, was, can you remember? That one was, I'm sort of hanging on so that you've got the answer. The trooping funnel one was, you would say that was a wavy undulating. I mean, it is a bit cracked as well, actually, isn't it? But I think mainly undulating. Look at this little beauty. So I found these mushrooms again in December a couple of years ago, and I found out about these on the Wildlife Trust's website. Thanks, Wildlife Trust. I'm pretty sure that these are velvet shank. Look at them, they're so gorgeous and colourful. So I read the Wildlife Trust's website, and they said how you identify them is fleshy yellow-orange caps. Yes, definitely. Convex at first. Do you remember what convex means? Just like mushroom shaped. Yes, check. And it said that they were quite slimy once they got wet, and these are definitely slimy. And then at the bottom it said they have a faintly striated margin. So striated is this one with all the little lines coming in. And when I zoomed in on the photo, I thought, oh, gasp, yeah, they have, haven't they? Look, can you see that? Faintly striated. So I'm pretty sure now that is the that is the velvet shank. You can look out for those if you're watching live in a few months. And it's also found in winter, so which is why it's very important. Luckily, my phone had just told me what month I'd taken these photos, or I wouldn't have known. But I did read that there are like some mushrooms that can be confused with other mushrooms, but they grow at totally different times. So if it's like April, you can be pretty confident that it's this kind of mushroom and not the kind of mushroom that grows in like December. So even when they grow is important. The other thing you need to know, just briefly before we wrap up, is you need to know your trees as well. We've talked about how a lot of plants have this very deep connection with fungi where they actually kind of join up with them in the soil and they swap nutrients and water and things between each other. So there are certain fungi that are found with certain trees and not with other trees. For example, the classic jelly ear grows on trees including elder trees. So the jelly ear is edible, don't trust me, but this is a jelly ear and it is edible. Yeah, if you know, you ever seen like elderberries growing or elderflowers that people pick to make into drinks? They grow on elder trees. So the jelly ear looks a little bit like the Palomino cup mushroom, but the Palomino cup mushroom does not grow on elder trees. So if it's growing on an elder tree and it's jelly-ish like that, you could be fairly comfortable that it was a jelly ear, and it definitely wouldn't be a Palomino cup if it was growing on an elder tree. And jelly ears listen down. I didn't know this. Look out for that. This just look like an ear, doesn't it? And it's listening to the soil. There you go. Nice. Okay, right. Have a look at these two mushrooms for me, please. Can you tell me, are these mushrooms the same species or are they different? You've got two, obviously they're different photos. You've got two white mushrooms with stipes that are sort of slightly bulbous at the bottom, getting slightly narrower. They've both got white gills, white cap. I'm looking at the margin. I guess on one of them maybe margin is slightly more like rolled, but I don't know. Are they the same mushroom or are they different species? Do you want a tour? Let's get up close. What do you think? Have you decided? It's just the yes or no. They are different species. What? How on earth would you tell the difference between those mushrooms if you found them in the wild? They even grow next to each other. And because life hates us, one of them is incredibly poisonous and the other one is edible. So the one on the left is called the livid entoloma and it is highly poisonous. And the one on the right is called the miller and is edible. According to Wikipedia, 10% of mushroom poisonings in France happen because of this livid entoloma mushroom. These are both very common mushrooms in Europe. That does not surprise me at all. In fact, I'm really surprised that it's not higher. One of the ways you tell the difference is the smell. Often the livid entoloma smells really bad. And it also has a red and brownish spore print, whereas the miller smells better and has pink spores. Obviously pink and reddy brown. They're not wildly different colours, are they? And sometimes, the miller apparently smells like flour. I guess that's why they called it the miller. But sometimes the livid entoloma can smell like flour as well. So I don't know. Do you want to see my spore prints while we're talking about spore prints? I found some mushrooms. I've never picked a mushroom in the wild because I like to leave them for the creatures. But I was lucky enough on my walk the other day to find quite a few that had fallen over. I don't know, probably dogs in it. I must say they're looking a little bit sad now. But I did take some spore prints and was really pleased with these. So this is one, all I could say was that I found it under an oak tree and the cap was kind of sticky. It's totally gross now. But it gave me this lovely spore print before it died. And this one, I don't know what this is yet. I will try and find out. Every time I put this bad boy down, it gives me a new gorgeous spore print, which is really black. So I'm hoping that'll be fairly easy to identify. And yeah, this one here is from this gorgeous thing here, which might be a honey fungus. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, stunning. So spore prints, which we've talked about before, another good way of identifying mushrooms. You've got to be patient, I suppose, though. All right then, I think this is the last one. There's one last way that we haven't talked about that you can distinguish between mushroom species. So you've got a picture of 3 mushrooms here. Are they the same species or are they different? Or are 2 the same? What do you think? Are they 3 different species, 2 different species, 1 different species? How many different mushrooms are in those photos? Got a lovely picture of the annulus here. Annulus just means like ring in Latin. So depending on how pretentious your mushroom expert is, they might call it an annulus or a ring. Same, different? What do you reckon? If you're feeling quite confident now about all the different bits, you could be looking at what they've got in common, hey? Have you noticed that they've all got warts? So these are all the same, as far as I can tell, as far as Wikimedia comments, which is where I got these photos from, was telling me, they're all the same species of mushroom. This is a blusher mushroom, and it's, from what I can gather reading about it on the internet, it's totally pointless trying to identify a blusher mushroom by the cap, because they can look so different. So this would be a very young one. And the older ones obviously do look different, but even between old ones there will be a lot of difference. But the clue's in the name. How you tell a blusher mushroom is apparently if you damage it, it blushes. I haven't been able to do it, so I don't know. But yeah, if you cut it a little bit, it will sort of turn red in a way that other mushrooms won't. And there are some mushrooms, if you cut them, they turn yellow, and that might be how you can tell that they're a toxic one. So yeah, giving it a little bit of damage and seeing if it changes colour is another good way to identify mushrooms. So yeah, I thought you might think that I'd showed you this mushroom before, because to me, especially this one on the left, it looks quite a lot like Amanita pantherina. They look really similar, don't they? But again, blushers, as far as I can recall, blushers, they're edible, and Amanita pantherina is poisonous. But yeah, they look, to my eyes, they look pretty similar. Right, are you ready for a little quiz? Just 3 questions to see how carefully you've been listening. What do you reckon? You see this fungus growing on an elder tree. If it's one of these 3 mushrooms listed, which one must it be? You see this fungus growing on an elder tree. There's some elder flower there. If it's one of these mushrooms on this list, which one must it be? Is it a jelly ear? Is it a palomino cup? Or is it a shaggy ink cap? If you see a fungus like that, sort of like a little squishy circle of fungus that's kind of been like balled up and stuck to a tree. The answer is, it's a jelly ear. Looks a little bit like a palomino cup, but palomino cups do not grow on elder trees. How would you describe the cap of this mushroom, please? This little cutie here. Actually, doesn't look totally unlike a blusher, does it? To my very, very untrained eyes. I can't remember whether they grow out of wood though. Is that a depressed cap? Is it an umbonate cap, or is it an ovate cap? It's ovate, isn't it? It looks like someone's just cut the bottom off an egg or eaten a hard-boiled egg and then stuck the shell on top of a stipe. So that would be an ovate cap. And finally, no one was getting this on Facebook. Boletus, I don't know how you pronounce that. Oripes, is it? Boletus oripes? It's a bolete mushroom anyway. It's a golden mushroom with a flat cap that grows near oak trees. Is the mushroom in the picture Boletus oripes? Boletus, this bolete mushroom is a golden mushroom with a flat cap that grows near oak trees. Is that a description of is that mushroom in the picture this bolete mushroom that I'm describing? Probably, probably not, definitely, or definitely not. What do you reckon? So some people on Facebook were looking at the cap and thinking, oh, I don't know if that is a flat cap. Yeah, that's another thing that you could look at though as well. The answer is definitely not. It can't be, because most bolete mushrooms, and the one that is described here, the vast majority of them have pores, right? And this mushroom's got gills, so that is not a bolete. 100% no. Right, come back up here with me. Oh, so yeah. So I thought what you might want to do at the end of this lesson is to just write down some of the many, many different ways that you can identify mushrooms based on what they look like have they got warts or a vulva, or what their cap looks like, or if they've got gills or pores, but also where they're found, like are they found on an elder tree, or are they found in a fairy ring, in which case it might be that trooping funnel, how they behave as well, like when they come out, what time of year, whether they blush red or yellow, or whether they don't blush, like what colour the spore. There's so much to think about. And as a complete rank amateur, I'm still finding that I'm like seeing a mushroom, taking loads of photos, coming away and then thinking, I didn't check this, so I still can't be quite sure what type it is when I'm looking it up on the internet. So I think that would be an interesting thing for you to fill out and take with you as you're going on a mushroom hunt, hopefully, at some point. Right, thank you so much for joining me. That is the end of the lesson. There's no comments on YouTube, as you will have noticed, but whenever I'm live on YouTube, I always put a post up on my Facebook page saying, you can comment on this and I will come out at the end and say hello. So I'm going to go to my Facebook page now, to the post at the top, and see if anyone has left me any comments. Yay, comments! Great, hello. So this is where people ask questions and I do know and we learn more, or I don't know and I just look it up for you and we learn more, so it's all good. If you are new to these lessons, how it works is, I would say it's a really weird business model. Actually, more and more people are using this business model. It's kind of taking off. So you might have heard of it now. What happens is, everything that I do is free. I've been doing this for 4 years now. The printouts for my lessons are free. The lessons are free. There's IGCSE physics lessons that I teach for free. There's a Lego story show where I tell a story in Lego. That's free. That's on after this, actually, on YouTube. Everything that I've done is saved on my website for watching on catch up with the printouts. And I just say that if you are using me as a resource, like if you're finding this useful, if you're used to paying for your lessons, then you can pay me. And enough of you are watching and paying me, then it's my job. It's amazing. It's so good. We just came across this by accident, all of us together, and it's working really well. So if you go to my coffee page, if you're on YouTube, obviously you are, because you're watching this. If you go to my About section, then there's a link to coffee in the About section bit. It's coffee, this website here. Or if you're on Facebook, there's a link in the comments, or there's a link at the top that says sign up, and you can sign up to support me with £5 a month and I will send you nice things. So I write Fit of Science magazine. I don't get very much time to write it because of all the planning and the teaching, but I very, very slowly write it. And then if you're supporting me to pay my wages, then you're on the list and you get sent it whenever it's come out. So at the moment, if you sign up with £6 a month, I will send you an issue of my sleep magazine, which is all about the science of sleep. It comes with a free little, tiny little bag of lavender and some fabric, so you can sew yourself a little sleep squish, which will help you sleep at night. And if you support me with £6 a month, and then you get the mould magazine, which is obviously very relevant at the moment. It's all about mould. So it's got a comic that my husband illustrates for me. about how penicillin was discovered. So the guy who discovered penicillin is really famous, this kind of mould. But it wasn't actually really thanks to him that it ended up saving loads and loads of lives. That was a lot of different people. One of them was even a woman, so I've told you about that. It's got loads of stuff about the difference between like mushrooms and yeast and plants and animals and moulds, which is obviously quite relevant to you. It's got choose your own adventure. It's one of my favourite things I've written. You're a mould expert in a museum, and if you make good decisions, you get promoted, and if you make bad decisions, I think stuff sets on fire. And yeah, I send you a home compostable plastic bag so that you can grow mould in a little tray in the bag to be safe and watch what happens, and then you can just like bury the whole thing or put it in your compost. So yes, that's the Science magazine, which you will receive along with some rainbow glasses and some of the little bits and pieces if you sign up to support me. Morning! Orin watching without Anya this morning. Oh. Giving us lots of information to work with for our woodland holiday next week. All the keywords. A woodland holiday next week. Oh, that's exciting. Oh man, have a lovely time. I just want to be in the woods right now. It's such a beautiful autumn day here today. Good morning, Harvey. Loving today's lesson. Oh, look at you. Oh, is that a mushroom wearing sunglasses? Hold the phone. What is that? Oh, dude, did you just make that? And they're different colours. Look at them. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I love that. I just made this burger. Why didn't I make a mushroom? Very cool. Right, anyway, I love that little hedgehog mushroom. Okay, let's see what everyone else has said. Oh, hello, Abba. Arthur is still asleep. Good for you, Arthur, who isn't here because he's still asleep. Whoa, Abba wanted to show you this photo. What? That is not a real mushroom. I thought that was a Play-Doh model that you'd photoshopped. Oh, look at this. That is so cute. So that is definitely fly agaric, isn't it? That's your classic Mario mushroom. Look at its little warts from its universal veil. There's something been having a little chomp on the stipe. Oh, that's so cute. Stop it. You're making me want to go into the woods. And I have work to do today. Maybe I'll walk through the woods later. Hello, Jane, Daisy and Daniel. We just checked our mushrooms for spore prints. Almost 24 hours under a bowl. They didn't produce many spores. They were called large flat mushrooms on the packet. Yeah. It turns out it's quite a good way of checking how fresh your mushrooms are, isn't it? Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, few of mine, they're not too bad, are they? But they're not great. Were they a bit wet? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just weren't fresh. Like, I think that was the problem with some of my Tesco ones. Hello, Jessica. Really enjoyed this module, but we need to start again with our sourdough. Bob the Blob. Bob the Blob didn't do too well. Oh, no. If anyone wants to learn more about trees, definitely recommend The Hidden Life of Trees. Did you know that the classic toadstool, the fly agaric, grows near silver birches and beeches are able to make friends? I did not know that. No, I didn't know that. Grows near silver birches. Oh, that's so good, isn't it? I love how it all fits together. So once you learn more about trees, you'll be able to go, oh, I bet there's some of those kind of mushrooms under there. Hello, Imogen and Ophelia. Ready for some more mushrooms on this autumnal morning. This was such a good idea to do mushrooms in autumn. Yeah. Hello. Not wearing my mushroom jumper today, but invoking the mushroom spirit. That sounds like some kind of terrible, dark magic ritual. Invoking the mushroom spirit. Is it ovate? Hello. Yes, it is. Sky wanted to show you these. Oh, look at that. Yes. Wow, you guys are really, you're really coming up trumps with the Play-Doh models. Oh, they are. Oh, that's great. I love your little spores. You had tools, didn't you? How did you do that? They look really good. Oh, look. Is that a depressed one? Oh, nice. And you've got an actual mushroom. Wow, that's beautiful. It's kind of pinky. Oh, love it. Oh, yes. That's the nice thing about this module, isn't it? It's very visual as well. And finally, Jacob's mushroom design. No, you did not design a mushroom. Hello, Aurelia. Oh, yeah, Lewis has found a fly agaric as well. We've got the whole family. All right. Okay, let's have a look at some fly agarics. This all fits in really well. It's like I'm some sort of CBeebies presenter. Here's Jacob's mushroom design. It's singing a little song. Oh, it's got little paw prints. Did you actually make that up? That is so good. And then look, here's the real one. Ta-da! God, that is a beauty. Oh, wait, guys, am I seeing a slightly Am I seeing a slightly striated edge there? I never knew that the flying agaric had a slightly striated margin, but I believe it does. Anyway, let's striated margin. Yeah, I feel like such a scientist. Hello, Grace and Hope. You love mushroom spotting. Yeah, me too. It's so funny how my husband isn't even watching these lessons, and he's got like really into it. It's really addictive right now. If we're walking through a forest, we keep looking out for them. Enjoyed writing with the ink from ink caps. Are you kidding me? I'm worried that a lot of you might be witches since we started doing these lessons. In fundibuliform. Yeah, right? I think you're right. I think it was in the funnel one. All right, Chloe, hello. Hello, Kaya. Good morning, Holly and Sky. Hello. Jacob's clay mushrooms. Jacob, you've been pulling this out of the bag. You've been doing mushrooms in multimedia form. Oh, they're great. Oh, look at that. Yes, there's your, oh, can you remember the word? I'm not going to look at the board. I'm not looking at the board. What's the word for that little knob that goes on top? Can you remember? I'm blanking. So we've got a depressed mushroom here, almost like a funnel mushroom. And then, come on, what's the name for that bit? I'm just thinking ovum and ovate in my head. It's not that, is it? I'm going to have to look at the board. Oh, yeah, the umbo. The umbo. That bit at the top is the umbo. Okay, nice. Thanks, Jacob. Yes, that's the umbonate one, which I'm sure I'm saying wrong. Lily found a bunch of different mushrooms while out on a walk yesterday. Some depressed, and some with spores. Oh, yeah, let's have a look at these. See if anyone can recognise any of these. Oh, yeah. That's a striated one, isn't it? That is quite clearly striated. Wow, yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, they are stunning. And yeah, that's a funnel one, isn't it? Oh, but well, I don't know. Is that some sort of chanterelle? I don't know. It's got a rolly margin, hasn't it? But then they don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think on the false chanterelle, the margin stays rolled the whole time, and I think on the other one it can straighten out. But I mean, who's to say? Anyway, they're really beautiful. I love that guy. It's so shiny. Yeah, I didn't say actually. Wait. So this, I'll show you. It was only after, I was showing you my picture of the funnel mushroom, the depressed one, and I found out quite recently that it's the trooping funnel. And one of the things about those trooping funnel mushrooms is that they quite often grow in fairy rings. It was only when I looked back on the photo, because I took it in 2021, that I remembered why I'd taken this photo in the first place. Look, I'm at Castle Howard with my mum and my little child. And this is me taking a photo of a fairy ring from below. I completely hadn't noticed when I uploaded this photo to show you that there's loads of funnel mushrooms all the way along, because that's a fairy ring, because they do grow in fairy rings. Ah, nature. Oh, I don't know. Just amazing. Right. So that's another way you can tell, actually. That's how they behave, isn't it? Is sometimes they make fairy rings. Not too bad when it's a close-up photo. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's not too bad. Hello, Magnus. All right. I'm just looking at the time. The universal veil. Very nice. Yes, exactly. You're answering the question about the ink cap. Hello, Louis and Gabe. It's Louis and Gabe who are giving me all these excellent answers. Alex wants to say, we grew our own oyster mushrooms. Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh, that's so cool. Hello, Kai. All right, Shuki and Ozra and Eunice and Salah and Musa. Hello. Velvet shanks look like pumpkins on a stick. Yeah, they actually do. Link for painting with ink caps. The Grizzly Forager. What's this? thegrizzlyforager.com. .co.uk. Oh, nice. Look at that. That's a homemade website and a half, isn't it? Making Shaggy ink cap ink for painting by the Grizzly Forager. Wow. Blimey. You'll need Shaggy ink cap mushrooms, a large bowl. Wow, and some salt as well. Oh, so there you go. Yeah, pick the big ones, I think, is generally the way forward. If you're going to pick one, just pick one and pick the biggest one to leave the little ones to grow. Wow. Cool. Oh my goodness. Don't stick your nose in it, dude. Honestly. Well, yeah, that's fascinating. I'm sure a lot of people will want to go to that website. There you go. The grizzlyforager.co.uk, everybody. Right, I've got to go soon because I'm doing a Lego story show about gems soon. And I need to reset the Lego story from yesterday. Let's just have a cheeky little refresh and see if anyone's left any more comments. My itchy nose. Wow, loads more comments. Let's have a look. Let's go to let's go to newest comment. Oh, thank you, Emily. It was just like Amelie. It is Amelie, isn't it? Yeah, not Emile. Amelie. That's very nice. And hello as well. Wait. Oh, even you've spelled it different. Okay, it is Amelie. Good. Hello and goodbye. Hello, I was a little late, so I missed the bit about the cats and dogs. Oh, I was just trying to say how to an alien coming down to Earth, it would actually be really difficult for them to see a dog on its own or a cat on its own and to be able to know if it was a dog or a cat. And it's the same with us with mushrooms. It's not just about what they look like. You've got to think about how they behave as well. It doesn't matter. It's all on YouTube, isn't it? You can watch it again. Let's have a look. I don't think Facebook's showing me all of the comments. Oh, there's Isabel. Hello, Isabel. Here are the mushrooms that I made. Oh, they are stunners. Yeah, Louis, that's definitely a fly agaric, isn't it? Oh, hello, Lewis in Porto. Loving your lessons and getting to play with his younger siblings' Play-Doh. Nice, yeah, right, any excuse. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, you've done the same as me with the 2D so that you can put it on a bit of paper. I like that. There's Lewis. Lewis, I won't show everybody your face, but I am absolutely loving your work. Oh, it's my face as well. Oh, hello, Lana. The answer to the question, dogs do what you want, cats make you do what they want. Yeah, fair. Lana, have a good time. Oh, hello, Sebastian and Humphrey. Cats think they are gods and dogs think you are a god. Yes, that's true. Hello, John and Seamus. Oh, good to see you guys. Hello, Aurelia. This is what Jacob found yesterday. Whoa, what? Is that the one? They look like the ones in my quiz at the end. Velvet shanks do look like pumpkins on a stick. Scrolling down. All right, I think that's everyone. I'm very sorry if you've left me a comment and Facebook hasn't shown me it. Then I can only apologise. I don't think it's showing me them in order. Sebastian and Humphrey again. Lana. Oh, that's nice. Margot has helped Lana understand. No. Lana has helped Margot understand. Well, that's nice anyway that you guys are helping each other out. R.I.P. Bob the Blob. I'm sorry about that. There's Kaya again. And Magnus again. Hello. There's Kai. All right. I think that's everybody except let's have a look at some of these photos. Whoa. Oh, Isabel, I'm loving those. Just looked up and saw that my battery was low. I have no idea how long I've been chatting for. I'm so sorry. Oh no, well, I definitely need to go because I need to charge my phone because I've got a Lego show to do and my battery's low. But anyway, look, I was just looking at and raving about Isabel's beautiful little... Have you made your own salt dough there as well? That is classy. That is classy. I like that. And yeah, here are the pictures that the mushrooms that Jacob found yesterday. We didn't look at sort of when they go up at the margin like that, did we? What are you thinking? A wavy margin there? Anyway, right, well, yeah, I'm really sorry if I said a lovely big hello to you and my screen was frozen, so you didn't hear me. It's just professional all the way. Professional all the way. Yeah, I was just saying hello to Margot. Right, okay, I better go and reset my Lego Story Show about gems, which will be on YouTube live in 25 minutes. Amelie! Bye-bye. Cheerio, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next week for when we're going to do a lesson on categorising mushrooms. So we'll look at how scientists put these mushrooms into sort of different families, which hopefully, now we've got all this knowledge like sloshing around in our brain, that'll help us to it'll make more sense, I think, now that we know all this stuff. Okay, yes, right. Anyway, I'm going to go. I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support me with £5 a month, but you want the mould issue, you can support me with £5 a month, get the sleep issue sent to you. But I've put this up in my shop really cheap to buy for people who are supporting me. So if you can buy it separately and I'll put it in the envelope for you. Okay, thank you for your support, you lot. Thank you so much for all your beautiful photos. I will see you all soon. Bye!